How do I follow that? That was incredible, Malachi. Again, another round of applause for our 7 speakers. I'm telling you, I feel like a very proud 23-year-old dad of some incredible young people. So it's now time to welcome the Attorney General, the Honourable Yvette D'Ath, to the stage to provide her reflection speech to the young speakers in this session. So can you please make a massive round of applause for the Honourable Yvette D'Ath?
Wow. Can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners and the custodians of the land in which we hold this forum today, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and particularly acknowledge any young First Nations people here. But can I acknowledge everyone from all nations, from all cultures, recognising true diversity, and that's what we've just seen and heard. I don't feel worthy to follow you, to be honest. It is so hard. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for sharing your stories. It was incredibly moving. It was, sorry, a bit shorter. It was incredibly moving. It was incredibly personal and incredibly brave. You probably get sick of hearing that word. You probably get sick of being told that you're brave. And I can understand why. Someone better ding me when my 10 minutes is up, because this is going to be hard. But if I can give a little bit of self-reflection as well. As someone who left school at 15, who changed, went to 6 schools in 3 years, who moved 12 times in less than 10 years, who had lived in a caravan and lived in someone's garage. There is a very, very small part of me who gets it. But your stories are incredible, and a theme comes through: trauma, mental health. Valued, loved, safe. The fundamental foundations of being a human being. We all want that. And our young people not only need it, but deserve it. And it's more important when you're young than ever before, because it will shape your future. Every single person we heard from today, certainly those with lived experience, you have all been let down. You have all been let down by adults. And for that, I say sorry. I know that is not enough. My job is to take your messages away and to make sure that it wasn't just a moving experience for 1 hour on one day, but that it leads to change in the future. It makes a difference for those who are still to come. To Oliver, thank you for sharing your story around child safety, the foster system for people with disabilities. Your message is very clear about listening to young people, the prevention of harm. Our system isn't about giving a roof over a head. Our system is supposed to be providing holistic support and care. And our system doesn't do that well enough. And each one of you today have shown that. You've told your truth. And as leaders, as decision makers in this state, if we don't listen to that truth, we will keep repeating the mistakes of the past. Way too many events I've been to over the years that are making decisions for youth have had no youth represented there. If you don't listen to those that you are making decisions for, you can't make the right decisions. I love the Child Protection App idea, and I want to take that idea forward. To Ruby and that 9-year-old girl, for anyone who hasn't been in that, you can't imagine it. We can't sympathise. We can't say, oh, I know how you feel. No one can unless you've walked in those shoes. You're absolutely right in what you say. We fund organisations to support the adult who comes forward seeking support. And although many of those programs include child psychologists and people to work with the young person in that family, they're not specifically designed for that. They're not putting young people front and centre in the domestic and family violence system. And we should do that, because you are right that those who are going to end domestic and family violence are the youth of today and the youth of tomorrow, because those youth may go on to have very successful lives, but they also may go on to carry a lot of trauma and have a lot of health issues themselves and not be able to live a quality life. Or they may shift from being a victim to an offender themselves because they take that trauma forward and that's all they know. So we have to do better. And we have to stop that intergenerational trauma. Kids of Purple, you and I are going to talk. To Carice, racial discrimination, bullying, hate, vilification, it's never acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable in any society. Australia likes to pride itself on how multicultural we are, because we are. Unless you're a First Nations person, we are all here through migration at some point. But we need to be listening to how we evolve and how we accept each other. One of my local First Nations elder who speaks at different events, and particularly citizenship ceremonies, likes to say that you strip away the colour, the accent, the name, the nationality that we give ourselves. We're all just human beings. And why can't we see each other that way? Why do we have to see each other in the prism of colour and disability and race? We just shouldn't. We should see each other as human beings. And that's what we need to be teaching in our communities, in our schools. It starts with respect. It's something that we're losing as a society, is respect. Technology plays a role there. We need to use technologies to actually help break down those barriers and teach respect. And many of you have talked about using technology for good, not for evil. So thank you for your ideas, Carice. Caroline, no support. Yes, you are who you are because of where you came from and what you've been through. But you shouldn't have had to be there. You just shouldn't. No one should have forced you into that role. It's not about whether you want to or you regret raising siblings. That's not what it's about. So many of you have had your childhood stolen from you. And it's not fair. And it's been stolen from you by adults. Those who are directly responsible for you and who should have loved you, who should have cared for you, who should have valued you and should have made you safe, but also those who are in positions to make a difference, to provide you that safe environment, to provide you that love and that value, and they failed. We have a Human Rights Act in this state. We're supposed to put the person first, and that includes children. And too often I hear in the child support system that the young person doesn't feel like they've got a voice. We need to make sure that we give you that voice. And we need to find better ways to do that. We definitely need to support siblings who are caring for siblings and recognise that in a formal, supportive way, not just encourage informal care. Platitudes, but not support. You need support. You deserve support. Abby, you summed up everything that everyone was talking about. Feeling valued, external validation, navigation, navigating relationships, understanding what is positive and negative. Again, that comes back to that respect and understanding that we need to be educating everybody about, and young people especially. And so we need to find better ways to do that. Teaching young people about self-worth, that it's okay to be an individual. And we say that so often, but do we really provide you with the tools as to how to figure that out? I'll be honest with you, as adults, we're not given the tools of how to actually look after our self-worth. We just get on with our day. You know, be tough, be strong. But we all need those tools, and those tools have to be reinforced through our lifetime. As babies, as toddlers, as adolescents, as teenagers, as young adults, and as we age, we need those tools. And we need to listen to all of those generations as to how we develop those tools. You said we need professionals in schools, self-worth programs and resources. And you even said you could even work with young people to design them. No, it's not you could, it's you should. That's the reality of it. We should. And we don't listen to you enough. And that's what this Youth Summit's about. It's giving you a voice, but it's making sure that your voice travels well beyond these four walls, well beyond this building, well beyond this day. Muskan, family. I'm the Attorney General. I've been around youth justice. I've been the Youth Justice Minister. I've been the Health Minister. I've met so many young people in the criminal justice system who have been in the child support system as well. And yes, family is everything. That doesn't necessarily predetermine where your future is, whether you have that support or not, but there is no doubt that the job becomes that much harder when you don't have family supporting you. So often programs in the youth justice system are about the young person. How do we stop that young person reoffending? How do we stop that young person from offending in the first place? How do we get them to turn their lives around? And you can do that, but then when you put them straight back in the same environment where there's neglect, there's poverty, there's abuse, it's very hard to stay in that positive state. Children aren't bad because they're born bad. Adults aren't bad because they're born bad. Some absolutely have those characteristics and tendencies, but most who find themselves in the system are there because of their learned experience, the trauma that they've been exposed to, what they know as the norm. A loving family who are there for their children, for their child, does make all the difference. Parental leave and increasing parental leave. I think both parents should have at least a year each. I have advocated that for 17 years. At least that gives the first 2 years of their life, and we know that's an important 2 years. But not every parent's in the workforce, and not everyone accesses that leave anyway. That is just one tool. Will it fix everything? No. Does it make good parents because you're physically at home with your child? No. No. So we need to support parents in how to be good parents. Not just give them the leave, but give them the support to be good parents so that they can raise good children. Malachi, wow. I heard you were going to do a rap. Thank you for so succinctly wrapping up your entire life. You were 20 years since you were 9 months old in the system into such a potent set of words that cut through. And I think the key message taking away from your words is look after the individual, the person. They're not a statistic. They're not a number in the system. They're a person. They're a child who wants to be valued, who wants to be loved, and who wants to be safe. And that's what this is all about. That's what each of your messages were about today. Making sure that our system, our child support system, is actually caring for the child, not just looking after the child. Caring about those siblings and their separation and what that means. Our job is supposed to be putting children first, whether it's through the family law courts, the child safety, through our criminal justice system, putting a young person first and foremost, and how do we make them a child who has every opportunity ahead of them. And we need to do that across the system, whether it's child support, the justice system, housing, health, education, training, everything we do. Every decision we make impacts on young people, and we have a responsibility to make good decisions, and we can't do that if we don't listen to you. Thank you so much for giving me the absolute honour and privilege to listen to you today. I will be following up on your stories. We will be having conversations because you have so much to contribute to society, and you have so much that can help change the direction for so many others who come after you. Thank you.